I'm Michelle Turner, and Northwood Gymnastics is a club in Northwood in Middlesex. So the club's been established now for like 50 years. My husband, he's the head coach of the club. He bought the club, I'd say about 30 years ago. It was quite a small establishment when he bought it. And then he changed venues. He grew the club at one of the venues, and we had about 500 to 600 members at that venue throughout the week, running every evening and Saturdays and some Sundays as well. We hire venues rather than have a purpose-built club. It just works better for us. And then in 2016, we managed to get a second venue and expand the club. So running at two venues. So we've got about 1,200 children through our doors each week. We've got a good team of coaches who also coach in schools. So we have a coaching company that goes to schools as well. We first got on board with LoveAdmin in 2016 when I stepped in and I got involved in the sort of the behind the scenes running it side of it. My background is working in schools. I've done a lot of work with schools technology and safeguarding. So I came in with my safeguarding head and my technology head and said, why haven't you got a website? This is ridiculous. And why are you taking payments at the club by cash and card and massive queues out the door? That's when I contacted LoveAdmin. At the time, there wasn't really many platforms that offer the service that you guys offer. It's really grown since 2016. It doesn't sound like it's a long time, but it was actually quite hard to find a good company that would do what we wanted it to do. It's been a good journey. So registered with handwritten. And then numbers grew and they did it on Google Drive. So when customers came in and paid, they'd queue up. Massive queues would be out the door on enrolment day, only one day to enroll. And if they missed that day, they didn't have a space. But also it impacted our numbers and people joining. And then the cash, the checks, having to go to the bank and pay it all in and count all that and stuff and keep track of it all. One of the best things about LoveAdmin was when we started the second venue, we actually did it again to PayPal links. And that's why I was like, this is ridiculous. Every PayPal link, we have to check their payment, put them on a register. And then with all the changes, the class changes, with all the new people joining, these paper copies of registers that have been printed off on Google Drive, obviously were changing. So it was lots of changes. The day before the club opened, every register had to be written. So it was all printed. So I took away the printing side. It enabled us to see payments online, enabled customers to join as the term started. So that as the first few weeks of the term, more and more people were joining. It just increased our members and just made it easier for the admin team to keep track of what was going on. And also we got the opportunity to put notes on the system. So with the admin team working on it, they could see if there's been correspondence with a customer and what to say to them on the desk when they came in and denied that we had any contact with them. And then there'd be a whole reel of notes on them. So everyone sort of knew the history. We wanted online registers and we wanted to be able to monitor the changes and take the payments online as opposed to payment at the club. So it just made it a lot easier for us. So we had 4 platforms. We adapted one for term time, we adapted one for events, which is our holiday club, had one for schools, and then we had a waiting list one. So we still had to keep them all separate. With version 2, I can see how it can all be done under one platform rather than all these different platforms. It's been really interesting to see because we've had our first enrolment this term. Last term, we imported everybody over. We've had our first 2 weeks of enrolment. And normally I've got people not sitting in classes, people missed deadline. It's all been a bit like, but it's actually, touch wood, we're week 2 in and it's been really smooth. The enrolment last term when we had so many more trials and it all went so smooth that we're like, this is great. We talk to other gymnastic clubs and they're using this software, they're using that software, but LoveAdmin does do everything that we need to do. Well, I think registers, the online payments, the online bookings are useful for us. The notes are useful. Also keep an eye on the finance and who's paid and not paid. That's really useful as well. And doing our finance reports and matching it all up with our bank payments. I would normally say that the first 2 weeks is a bit crazy. We're normally doing a lot more admin. The admin's really quiet. Everything's just done. I've been able to be at the club and leave the desk team to get on with it, and I've been able to be in the gym a little bit more and overseeing the coaches. We're actually working with Hertfordshire University, and we are going to be running some apprenticeships for some apprentices this September. I've had more time to think about that and to have some talks with the universities, not putting that to one side and beginning of term being all about the enrolment. It's enabled us to take on more customers. Like I said before, you had that one day of enrolment. People would come to the venue, and if they didn't get a space, then it would be a case of them turning up in the evening, and if it's classes full. This way, we know our customers and our members before the term starts, and then there's a period of time where people can enrol rather than it all being the emphasis at the club. So I think that's really helped as well. With LoveAdmin now, we can export a spreadsheet and the numbers are on there, or mass, like for example, with big memberships, I was able to send out a mass email to everyone without it, rather than individually chasing. So as I said, when I looked for a system, there wasn't much out there, and I was obviously very lucky to find LoveAdmin. It is a bit overwhelming. I know some feedback I've had from other clubs that the system is quite technical. I've got a very technical background, so I can normally manage around systems. But what I've found is that don't be put off when you first see it, because it is very usable. So my team, I've had to train them, and at first they found it quite daunting. But once you get going, it is pretty intuitive, it's usable, it's not daunting, it's obviously quite user-friendly.